Hey, what's going on, guys? Here's another video for you. This is my Mortiis Collection, or Mortiis, or however you want to say it. Mortiis is a one-man project from Norway. He has a couple eras. He played dungeon synth, atmospheric dungeon synth in the beginning, and then he moved to more like industrial rock later on in the vein of like Moby and KMFDM and shit. But anyway, he released his first demo in 1992, Song of a Long Forgotten Ghost. I've listened to it. It's okay. It's very feels kind of one-dimensional, and it's like decent background noise, but it's nothing like too memorable. And it is super long. It's one song, and it's like 59 minutes or something like that. But it's an interesting first start, and I don't know if there was much like it out there at the time, so it's cool for what it is. And then 2 years later, in 1994, he released a lot of these titles are going to be hard to say, so bear with me. Thought Till a Herske, which I bought years ago. This is the reissue. This goofy ass album cover. That's the thing with Mortiis. For anyone familiar with him, he's like a well-known meme because his promo pictures and his artwork and everything are always pretty goofy. This is fucking badass. They got the castle and the swans. So anyway, yeah, this is 2 songs, dungeon synth. A lot of this stuff, especially early on, reminds me of like early ambient Burzum kind of works. In the sense that like the real early shit has this very ancient folkloric vibe to it. I can't even really describe it any other way, but it's very ancestrally nostalgic, if that makes any sense. And then some of it can kind of lean towards more of like an old 80s Conan atmosphere, which is awesome. It's really good stuff. This is very minimalistic. It's only 2 songs. Very minimal synths used. The second song has some like cool wind blowing samples and some really goofy 2-note choirs, but for some reason it really works with the song. I'm a big fan of this album. I like it a lot. It's not my favorite by him, but it's definitely in a league of its own, just because, again, this specific style of like ambient stuff in the vein of even like the solo project Wangraven from Satir, stuff like that back then had this ancient, just beautifully folkloric vibe to it, and this is an album that does that for sure. So I'd give this an 8 out of 10. It's good stuff. And then after that, in 1995, he released Anden som Gjorde Uproar, which I do not own. It's a pretty good album, though. It takes a step up from this. There's a bit more layers. The songwriting is a bit more, I guess you'd say, mature. And some different settings are used. Like I think there's like panpipes and stuff like that. There's some spoken word stuff, which is pretty cool. And on top of that, it's shorter. It's only 40 minutes, so to me that's a good length. I like dungeon synth a lot, and this type of music he was playing back then, but I don't need like an hour-long album of it, really. It's just my preference. So yeah, I'd give that like an 8.5 out of 10. And so then in 1995, the same year, he released Kaiser Aven Dimension Ukgent, which I do have somewhere. Yep. Got this a couple years back. Again, goofy fucking artwork here. This one I like better than the previous one I mentioned, Anden whatever. Specifically the first song, Reisende til Grotter og Odemarker. Which I'm sure I butchered, but yeah, he actually made a video for that, and it's pretty much just him walking around an abandoned castle, just like different scenes of it. But it is really cool, and it's very lo-fi, and again, it has that kind of like goofy, corny Conan kind of Excalibur atmosphere to it, so it's really cool. The song itself is amazing. I love the different sections. There's some triumphant parts, there's some really lush parts. Great overall. And the second song is very good as well. It's not as engaging as the first song, but it's very good. A lot of meditative, lush parts in it. There's like pan flutes and all these kind of, you know, classic synth settings. So yeah, I'd give this one an 8.5 out of 10. Very good. So then he released a shit ton of EPs in 1996, like 5 of them, which culminated into a compilation of Crypto the Wizard. Look how goofy this artwork is. Take it out so you can see better. So yeah, this is a compilation of 5 EPs in 1996. Some of it's good, some of it's kind of eh. There's some like... There's some shit on here that sounds too much like a video game. Like Troll Manon's Crypt gets really goofy. The last few get really goofy. But the second song is really good. Is it the second song? Or... Oh yeah, the one with number 4, End Circle of Cosmic Chaos. Is awesome. That's a really good one. Yeah, there's some good moments in here. The first song's really cool, very triumphant. The second song has some cool like drumming in it, or like percussion. And then a lot of them just get kind of a little too goofy for my taste. It sounds like an old video game soundtrack, but I respect it. It's a pretty decent compilation. I'd give it like a 7.5 out of 10. Yeah, and then in 1999, he released his last Dungeon Synth album, at least for the time. You ready for this artwork? Anyone half familiar with like metal memes will recognize this. Stargate. It's the goofiest goddamn thing you'll ever see. Like, what is that? What are you doing? It's so goofy. But yeah, this album he recruited Sarah Jezebel Deva for vocals from Cradle of Filth back in the day. So there's a lot of operatic singing. This picture is kind of cool. There's a lot of operatic singing on it, which I like, but at times it feels like it's too far up in the mix and maybe a little too much. Like, for example, the song I Am the World has it's just kind of like operatic vocals with some like glorious synth in the background, but I feel like the mix puts the vocals a bit too high. Otherwise, it is a very good song. World Essence, very sad song. There's even like this chick crying in like the second half. Very emotional song, very beautiful though. The first song is really good too, Child of Curiosity and the Old Man of Knowledge. The first half is very kind of lighthearted, medieval, market sounding music, and then the second half is like very triumphant. Across the World of Wonders is very good. Passing by an Old Raped Village is probably my favorite on here. I love her like vocals towards the end where she's actually like singing passages and stuff. And I just love the synths and the catchiness of it. But the rest of it's very good too. Towards the Gate of the Stars is very ethereal sounding. Spirit of Conquest has this very off to war kind of vibe to it. And then same with the last song too. It's kind of a reprise of that in a sense. And a lot of his stuff, I forgot to mention, the past albums I've been talking about, a lot of it is written where it comes kind of full circle, so at some point it kind of reprises into the beginning. It's really, really well done stuff. And despite how goofy this is actually a really, really good album. I really do like this a lot. It might be my favorite. I don't know, it's hard to say because like some days I love Fog Till Harske the best just because it has that ancient vibe to it, but I think like overall this is probably my favorite. I'd give this a 9 out of 10. It's a very good album. And so that after that was the end of fucking Dungeon Synth for Mortiis. He went on to do industrial shit, which I do have. The Smell of Rain, very, very, very good album. Surprising, because who would have guessed? Like, this guy was just making Dungeon Synth and he went right to, like, you know, KMFDM, Combi Christ kind of shit. But goddamn, it's a catchy album. Every song on here. This is probably my favorite album by him, like, just in general. Parasite God, so catchy. Mental Maelstrom, Spirit in a Vacuum. I love the female vocals with the synth underneath in the beginning of that song. So awesome. You Put a Hex on Me is, again, super catchy song, has cool hoodoo vibes to it. Everyone Leaves, very melancholic song. Marshland's awesome. Smell the Witch, just a phenomenal album. This is a 9.5 out of 10 to me. I absolutely love it. And then after that, I kind of fell off with him. I wasn't really into The Grudge. And then, yeah, I just never really got into his other stuff. I know he released The Spirit of Rebellion in 2020, which is supposed to be like a dungeon synth album that he did, like fresh. And I listened to it. It was good. It just kind of was missing some of that magic from the beginning. So it's just like, don't really need it. Don't really care. But these albums are very good. If you haven't checked out Mortiis and you like stuff like, say, I don't know, old Moonfog stuff like Storm, Wangraven, you know, like Lord of the Rings soundtracks, stuff like that, definitely check out old Mortiis. It's really, really good and really worth your time. So yeah, that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll catch you later.